actually done in 2017, 19 January in peace as the majority hopes for.
That is doable, that is realistic, that is effective as well as economical. So I think, again, we are going to do it again. Once we come up with something very realistic and doable, I'm sure management will instantly approve it. But like I started, we must remember that it is our own. Like QCell always said, it's your boss. QuantumNet, the Q group, we always say it is, we're here to set standards. We're not looking at what others are doing. Yes, we look at what others are doing, I mean, in relationship to the fact that we cannot exist, I mean, in the wilderness. We exist together with others, so we need to know what they are doing. But at the same time, we know what our customers need, we know what students need, we know what the society needs. So we try to do that, we try to tailor our proposals as much as possible so that we do not disappoint them, we do not disappoint management, and we do not disappoint our customers. So I think that's the little I want to say now, and then pass it on to just wrap it up before we start.
But I think it will be appropriate at this point to really tell them how appreciative we are of management, Mr. Led and Mr. Kebe, for being here today. And thanks for approving the proposal for the retreat and for coming and for understanding what we're trying to do. Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Much, and thank you to the entire staff of the QIT. We are really glad that they came up with such an initiative to have this retreat. A few years ago, we did have similar retreat as a whole company, which was done at Sunwing Hotel then, a few years ago. No, we had one at Sunwing before also for the whole company with the family members, the kids and everybody. We spent a couple of nights, and the main objective was try to see how best to move this company forward. By then, QCell wasn't in existence. By then, Espas wasn't in existence, and so many other departments. So it is always good to have such retreats and put heads together, knowing the fact that we are always running around the clock. Time becomes of things of an essence that we really have to manage our time. And some of the things we have to really do, especially in terms of the institution, you cannot just do on site. You have to go away and look at things, brainstorm, strategize, and look at the way forward. Over the years, the Institute, especially for me, it's been one of the areas where I started actually, when I joined the QuantumNet company almost 13 years ago. From one small hall, which we demarcated to have 2 classrooms, to where it moved from there to almost 6 labs, 10 labs, to where we are today. So definitely it's something I have a deep passion for. And to anybody being a lecturer or so, working with students, that means it's not only something you are doing because of the pay, but something you have a passion for. Because that's the way most education is. If you look at the education industry, majority of them work there tirelessly year in, year out until their time of retirement. But you tend to see that, okay, they didn't retire with a lot of money, but they've touched so many lives. And that you do because of the passion you have to educate, to impact on other youngsters. And the same thing applies to us here at QIT. Time and time again, when I go to a lot of departments, being in Interior Department or GRA or many other institutions, I tend to find students that who went through when I was there as the training manager. And they give me that courtesy and say, oh, you don't have to do this, wait, we'll do it for you. So that's the pay you get at the end of the day. So it's not about the dollars or the salary you receive today, but it's the future investment in your lifetime, and say, okay, oh, his dad taught me, or his mom taught me, and things like that. So again, that's the value the institution has. And again, it's building human capacity. As a company growing up, you tend to see that so many of our employees probably went through the QIT over the years. So there we become the first beneficiary again. And to help government, to help other institutions who used to send people away from the country just to get these courses done, we are coming in and playing our role. So moving forward, we want to look at where we are today and where we want to be tomorrow. Because the dynamics are changing, things are changing over the world, needs are changing, and many a times you tend to see that a few years ago, you must have these office package applications to do this training in order to hire somebody who can sit there being from clerical or secretarial thing, or being a typist, to now being an admin assistant and things like that, who can type, who can do this thing. But nowadays, majority of managers, senior managers and others do things on their own. You no longer require the skills of a typist or things like that to do those things for you. So we are moving forward also. We are not going to confine ourselves only to the office package applications, but we want to look at where we can impact more, especially on the younger generation, where they can learn hands-on training, hands-on practical skills that they can actually go out there and be entrepreneurs of their own. This is the main objective where we want this institution to get to. We are not looking at it only as a training institution, as just a normal tertiary, but we want it to be a polytechnic, whereby we can have all these skills, things to do with courses about skills, building of skills, training on practical aspect of things. Because time and time again, when we need somebody, a technician, for example, being at the AC refrigeration, being at the electronic department, and all this, you go to most of these institutions who say they are offering them, but the practical aspect of things is lacking. And when we when we decide to introduce these courses, we want to put a lot of emphasis on practical, hands-on, out in the field, doing things, actually to be able to do things on your own rather than sitting at home waiting for employment. You become your own employer, be able to go out there and looking at it, even how can we do it to better help and gear up these students at the end of their graduation. That if our tools, basic tools necessary they require to start as an entrepreneur, being able to install air conditioners, repair TVs, repair mobiles, repair refrigerators and all this, that we will have those tools set aside and give it to them as a to set up themselves going. So that they don't have to sit at home. They can graduate and right there on the field and be able to earn revenue and be able to do things rather than waiting for employment. I think that these are the direction that we want to look at as an institution. As I said, we are not looking at it as just a normal tertiary, but we want to be a polytechnic. We want to look at the courses that can help. Being the younger, being female, when Raki came, she did give a good outline of some of these courses and I think that this is something you can divulge on and go across it and look at it and how best can it be done. Because we have to get these things done at the end of the day. That's the only way we can move ahead of the competition. If people are thinking of some of these courses, we are thinking ahead. What can we do to impact this situation? A few months ago, one of the European EC organization came, and the first thing they said is, with Europe, they don't mind people migrating to Europe. But what they mind about is the double liability they encounter. Many a times, people take the back way to go to Europe, going there without any skills, without any knowledge of doing anything, so now they become double liability to those governments. And if at all they have these skills, being a plumber, being a masoner, being a carpenter, being an electrician, being an AC refrigerator repair or installer, or whatever it is, electronic guy, hands-on training or those skills built on with them, they wouldn't mind to receive them with open hands. Because everybody knows that in Europe and Americas, the most expensive is to even move a one AC refrigerator or technician guy from their office work to your location. They charge you one flat fee, which can be very expensive. Rather more, the time, number of hours they'll spend to repair, do the job done, the amount of materials they have to charge. So if they can have a cheaper labor, they would have welcome us with open arms. But if you see them turning us back because they don't have any use from us, we go there and become a total liability to them again, on top of what they already have. So we have to really put a lot of emphasis on those things to make sure that we have the training programs required to build skills. We want this country that we are not going anywhere else looking for skilled personnel, but we can get them from homegrown people. And this is the reason why many institutions here you go to, most of the construction site, only people you find are mainly the Senegalese, the Ivorians, the Guinean, the Malians, and all this stuff. Because they pick up these skills. They are trained. And they want to get it done. If you want to get somebody who is very good in this thing, you have to go to Senegal to get it. Being a fabrication, being masonry, being planter guy, being carpenter, being all these things. And we have young, able people in the country. But the problem, they don't have these skills. So we have to create that environment to make sure that we produce this number of skilled personnel. If not, we're going to go just back to drawing board again, year in, year out. Because of the office package you train year in, year out, at the end of the day, it becomes almost obsolete. Because they're not going to find job based on the certificate they received that I received for elementary, intermediate, and advanced in office package. Chances are very slim. What they end up doing, they hire them at the call center, hire them at this minimum things, and that is not what they want to do at the end of the day. So let us look at things again. How best can we impact our environment with the government help, give the helping hand the government will need? The government alone cannot do it. The private sector becomes the engine of economy in every country. So let us do our part. I think also before you guys move away from here, you will look at some of the areas like your accomplishments and your shortfalls over the years. If you look at the graph, probably it's been pretty stagnant. If it's not going down, the amount of intakes you've received over the years, the revenue, the expenditures, and all this stuff. Because again, you know that year in, year out, the company tried to improve the salaries for people, for the staff. And the only way you can do that is also when the revenue is increasing. But you cannot expect the revenue going down and your expenditures going up. So at the end of the day, that particular unit becomes insolvent. You're not going to be any use to the company, or you're not going to be able to sustain yourself. And every unit should be able to sustain itself. I think that's the nature of business. So let us look at it from that perspective also, that we try, how can we meet these targets we set aside? How can we meet these targets we are agreeing with management to do year in, year out? It is not just a target, a mere figure, but it is something we have to work towards to accomplish it. So let us look at those financial terms and look at all this stuff. Again, some of the areas that we tend to receive complaints from customers. Let us look at those things. Turnaround time. Once we sponsor somebody, they go through the course, they complete. What is the turnaround time of getting those certificates handed over to those people? I think it is something very important. Let every unit, whoever is responsible, because of some of the partners you are dealing with who are outside of this country, they are not dealing with only QIT. They have so many partners around the world. But if you are not consistently communicating with them to push them to get the certificates or the reports you need from them, you will be lacking behind. And you will tend to see that some of these courses, the certificates don't get around to us almost like a quarter or 3 months or 4 months or 5 months after the completion of the courses, which I don't think this thing is not acceptable. If I sponsor somebody, once they complete, at least within 3 weeks, 1 month, I should be able to receive the certificate and say, okay, this is the report or the results of whom you sponsored, and this is how he or she was performing. At least, that's minimum. So let us try and look at those angles, look at the areas that we need to improve also. As a company, we cannot set targets for you and tell you to achieve those targets without the tools required. Now, if we say that, okay, you have to come up with this type of target at the end of the year, we should be able to also support and give you the tools you need to accomplish that. Look at those things also carefully in detail. Some of the areas that needs to be upgraded, needs to be done, all of those things, let us look at it so that you have a complete white paper when you leave here. But a document with action plans. It is not going to be just a nice written document just for the sake of, oh, we've produced this document. But you have to have a document with action plan, dates, targeted deadline, and assigned to who is supposed to do what. I think that's the only way you can accomplish and turn things around when you leave here, that what you came to do, you accomplish at the end of the day. So again, we wish you all the best and hope to be back here again. I know we have a few other things to sort out there, but I said let me come and be part of the opening and then move on, and I'll be back again maybe later on today or tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you. Microsoft Office and management.
Okay.
And I am not sure whether management data is here.
No, for management, because we're working on having a new lecturer.
And will be on Friday.
Yes. So with that one, he's been lecturing it for a long time. He's got all the courses outlined.
Okay.
We know that we're going to be offering possibly 5 courses within management unit.
Okay.
Is it what we do in business management, HRM, there'll be marketing, entrepreneurship, and financial accounting, isn't it?
Okay.
That's all in it. So we'll have 5 or 6 within it.
Okay.
And all the course content, the curriculum is all done. Yeah, he's been teaching it the whole time.
Okay. That's fine. So presently we will start with the Microsoft Office, and we've come out with 3 grouping.
Okay, yeah.
And the first group number 1 is going to be Adil Toure, our Jalo, Ayo Samson, and Omar Bojang. Maybe you can find yourself a suitable place to group yourself. And group number 2 is going to be Aissatou Nyandu, Yusufa Jame, Serif Salah,